it's Neil with the Dastardly Gentleman. And with me, I have Frank. Say hi, Frank.
What up?
Such enthusiasm. Much wow.
Yeah, I have the best enthusiasm ever.
Yeah.
The bestest.
Well, I don't think so. So,
No, shut up. Please tell me that this is you playing it right now.
yes.
Oh my God, that's so great. That's so funny. So here's what Neil's effectively doing. He shit talks WoW like all the time. Okay.
Look,
He shit talks
we
No,
needed
shut up.
live
Listen.
footage.
Nonstop. Okay? And now this motherfucker's sitting here playing it, pretending that he's being helpful for the podcast. That is horseshit. I could have done this.
No, you couldn't.
I mean, like, I could have sat here on stream and fucking played WoW. That's
Look,
dog shit. I'm just saying.
No, this
Grats.
is this. No, thanks, dude. So tonight we're gonna talk about World of Warcraft. You love it. Your father loves it. If you haven't heard about it, it's been around for like 17 years, something like
Oh
that.
God, yeah. 14, because 2004 release date.
Okay. I was exaggerating a little bit, but then I thought about it. I'm like,
Not by much, really.
not by much. Jesus, it's been around for a long time.
Yeah.
You must have heard about it at some point in some sort of pop culture. There was a movie made for Warcraft, so I mean it's everywhere.
Fun fact: do you know who the director was?
U-Bowl.
Stop it. Get out. You know what? Never mind.
Who was it?
Turn
I thought
it
was U-Bowl.
off.
I thought
Turn
was
it off.
U-Bowl.
I'm done
not
here.
Joking. I thought it was.
No, that's terrible because Uwe Boll doesn't do good movies. And though it wasn't a great movie, it wasn't a bad movie. And that's all he does is bad movies. No, it was was it David Jones? Or Duncan Jones. Yeah, I think. He was David Bowie's son.
Wow, really?
Yeah, David Bowie got to see a special screening of his son's movie.
I did not
And
know
he
that.
said, and I quote, "Well, that's pretty far out." I'm like, that's kind of cool. I love that. I love the idea of that. I mean, like, it's like, you get your old watching you play video games.
Yeah, man.
That's good. That's good, son.
That's really cool.
You did a good job.
I like that. So, I mean, okay, so World of Warcraft, we've talked about this a few times. Like, probably about 6 or 7 times on the podcast. And we constantly mention it, weaving it into other topics. But, I mean, most people I know, like even non-gamers, have played this game.
Yeah.
Like, even for a little bit. This is the game that brought us all together, I mean,
Warcraft. World of Warcraft is a absolute amalgamation of casual gaming concepts and hardcore gaming concepts. Basically, it's like CrossFit. It's like CrossFit for video games. It really is, because it's like, it is as hard as you want it to be.
yeah.
Do you want to just kind of come in, fuck around, do some dailies, and you kind of get your jollies off, read the stories and whatever, and then get off because you have work or family or whatever.
Right.
You can do that. Do you want to be like min-maxing every character that you have, mapping out dungeons and finding like the optimal guild set? You can do that too if you really are just the worst. I mean, the worst.
See, okay, I remember when I first started playing WoW.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, this is in relation to the whole min-maxing.
Mm-hmm.
Dog, come on now. You're so needy right now. The whole min-maxing thing. Because I didn't want to do any of that. Like, I'm the type of person that, I play through the entire game the way I want to do it. And then once I've conquered everything I needed to conquer, I read a strategy guide, because I don't want any spoilers. I want to see how well I can do without assistance.
You know what's cool is because the original WoW, that's how it was. I mean, you play. I mean, or actually, I should say, even now, that's how WoW is. I mean, you don't have to min-max anything, and that was one of the really strong appeals to it. Is that there really wasn't a bad way to play a character, because every character had like a subset of skills that made it so that you could get through the entire game by yourself, and you would never have to rely on a single person ever. You could go from, and even in vanilla, 1 to 60, and you didn't have to talk to anybody. And as opposed to other games at the time, their contemporaries, which is EverQuest 2, Star Wars Galaxies. We recently started playing Galaxies again, and I'm gonna be totally honest with you, I forgot how fucking unforgiving that game is. I mean, like, if you don't min-max like a motherfucker, if you don't rely on other people, you are dead, son. You can't do shit. You might as well just stand there, hang out, become a doctor. Or, not everybody was built for the soldier's life, And EverQuest 2 was the same way. I mean, like, EverQuest 2, like, even if you go back to it today, like, in WoW, you have your talents, and then now you have your artifact talents, which they've dumbed down both even more than they used to be. And if you go back to EverQuest 2, they went in the opposite direction. They went like EVE Online level of complicated. Like, I logged into my EverQuest 2 character like, I don't know, like 7 months ago. And aside from the fact that there's like 16 expansions for EverQuest 2, which was just fucking mind-boggling. Not to mention EverQuest 1 has like 26, I think, expansions. I mean, which just like fucking kills me. I'm like, I don't even know how to deal with that. But whenever I got onto EverQuest 2, there were so many skills, alternate advancements, factional traits, etc., that my screen blew up with different, click here to learn about this skill, click here to learn about this skill. I don't know what the fuck any of this is. I mean, like, I'm like, even if I did, I feel honestly, even if I played the game like to this day, I'd probably still spend a lot of time going, I have no idea what any of this does. I don't have enough hot buttons for this. And that was because they end up with like trait bloat, which is one of the things that Blizzard noted way early on in WoW. And they're like, man, we got like a bazillion skills that nobody uses.
I mean, nobody. Like, look, I really don't like the way WoW turned out. Like, as far as
I don't either.
They watered it down to what you need and only what you need. There's a lot of fun spells out there that weren't practical for raiding or anything like that.
Because because nobody used them, you spend a lot of time whenever like you group with somebody who was like really deep into the lore and like really like playing the character, who would use one of those skills, and you'd be like, "What the fuck is that? That is awesome! How come nobody uses that?" And it's like, well, I mean, because it's an impractical skill. It's an impractical skill, but like you can find practical value in it beyond just like I am raid-in.
Right.
And it was awesome.
And like I was saying before, the whole min-maxing thing. It's like, when I first started playing WoW, I played a hunter, and I went a full-on survival hunter, which back in vanilla was garbage.
Absolutely the worst.
Dude, I would run around with a polearm raptor striking everything, and I felt
so bad.
So
I
badass.
Hate you. Just hearing you say it makes me sad.
Yeah, it was my style. I didn't like using a pet. I really didn't. So that's the way I wanted to play. But since it was underpowered, nobody would group with me.
I mean, I would. I'm gonna be honest with you. I would be that guy because, like, if we were say if we went to Shovelman's and I was tanking it, and the moment you're like, I'm gonna get this thing, and you run after it as a hunter, and you start just like raptor striking it, I'd be like, removed from group. Out. I can't deal with you. I mean, you are a subpar rogue. I mean, like, you are a rogue that can't stealth and can't damage. I can't deal with you.
I understand. Now, I mean, I understand shortly after that too. I was really stubborn because, like, anytime I play a game, I'm like, I want to play it the way I want to play it, and I don't want anybody to fucking tell me.
People just don't understand the value of the survival. No, we know. There's a reason why literally no one on the fucking planet plays them.
Well, that's the thing is, like, I didn't run any fucking add-ons, nothing. I didn't run DPS meters. I didn't care. I wanted to have fun playing the game, and that's the style I played. And yeah, it was hot garbage. So, like, after that, I mean, I never got into any end game. I think I did Molten Core twice, and I'm like, cool, I did Ragnaros a couple times, but I never got any good gear. I think I started getting Giant Stalker gear. Like, what do you do? Like, and once Burning Crusade came out, I'm like, all right, well, I want people to actually play with me, so I guess I should read up on this shit. And I didn't really like having to do that. I mean, don't get me wrong, I really enjoyed Burning Crusade. I thought it was a fantastic expansion, second only to Wrath of the Lich King. But that being said, I didn't want to have to, like, spend hours of research and get that one specific piece of gear, like run the run the stupid Sholomance 17 times to get that one piece of gear,
I remember like, I really enjoyed that because I played a warrior for like the longest time. Whenever I played original vanilla, I was a warrior from 1 to 60. and I was a two-handed Fury Warrior, and it was always funny because no idea uh I had no idea that damage meters were a thing,
Yeah.
and people were like, have you looked at the damage meter? And I'm like, I have no idea what that is. And then like all of a sudden, like there were numbers on the screen, and it was like, because everybody was making fun of me whenever I went to this raid because I was a two-handed Fury Warrior, and I'm like, well, whatever. I was kind of the same way. I'm like, I want to do my own thing. I kind of like, min-max this in my head, and I kind of wrote down, be like, this is kind of cool. I like that because I was playing a night elf, and I like the way they hold their two-handed swords because they do all like samurai style, and I thought that was awesome.
Yeah.
Because I'm a huge weeb, and so I get in this raid, and I felt like I was doing pretty good, but like because I thought I didn't know people were measuring my fucking metrics. I mean, like I didn't know that there were analytics for the shit that I was doing. So like that was a little awkward and disconcerting. But all of a sudden, these numbers are posted on screen because at the time Ubers was like a 24-man raid. Yeah. And so like they post these numbers and it just like blows up on the screen, and I'm number one by a fucking country mile. And everybody that was making fun of me at the beginning for being a two-handed Fury Warrior, I was like, suck my dick, y'all. And I was like, I'm not saying, but I'm saying you're fucking below the priests in damage. Which I mean at the time was like unheard of. That like if you were, I mean now, because like if people were watching and they started playing like Cataclysm Plus, it is normal for the priest to be number one in raid damage by fucking a bazillion miles.
Well, there was a time back in the day too when shadow priests were the shit.
Right, but now it's like it's not even a close comparison. I mean, like the amount of damage that a shadow priest does, like in Cataclysm and Legion, it's disturbing.
Yeah,
I'm like, I don't even know.
Why be in
I have a Power Ranger. How about Power Rangers? You guys like Power Rangers?
Oh, look at that Blue Ranger.
Does anybody want one?
Shut up, Jer. I wasn't bad then. I was a rock star with my mage. Freaking defensive stance until level 60. I remember, dude. Okay.
Hot garbage. I heard about that when I heard about that. I was like, how is he still a thing?
Freaking Jer. Like, okay, so. It was in Burning Crusade that Jer and I started being friends. Okay. Because I ran into him at CoachNet and we both realized that we played WoW. And our girlfriends at the time played WoW. And then we would have LAN parties and shit. And we would spend fucking hours upon hours doing Karazhan. Fucking getting shit-faced. It was the best time I ever had playing WoW. Was doing that shit. It was so much fun.
It's fun. I mean, like, and that's the thing about WoW is that it's casual enough that you can do that. I mean, and that's one of the things I liked about it because it introduced a lot of people that would have otherwise never started playing games to playing games. Yeah. Because the graphically, there was a thing that happened that WoW did as opposed to like every other MMO. And we know we talked about this before, but like think about the contemporaries, Galaxies, and EverQuest 2 pushed for realism. They pushed for real-looking graphics, which meant blah, blah, blah. My computer can't fucking play this. Right. Especially like a lot of the demographics of EverQuest 2. Like people who played EverQuest 2 want to play, or people who played EverQuest 1 want to play EverQuest 2. But if you ever looked at EverQuest 1 graphics at 2004, going into EverQuest 2, it's literally not even in the same fucking universe graphically. I mean, EverQuest 1 looks like Etch-a-Sketch wall drawings versus EverQuest 2, which looks like it's literally hand sculpted. And so people who played EverQuest 1 are like, well, I have to buy a brand new computer to play this. Oh, but World of Warcraft just came out, and its system requirements are like an eighth of EverQuest 2.
Well, yeah, because they had such a large range. That was one of the things when it came to World of Warcraft was like, I remember building Jared a computer, which, much like the computer I built for you, Frank, it was top notch at the time. Mm-hmm. And dual video cards, man, that shit was amazing. I wasn't very good at building computers at that time. I mean, for me, I was okay, but like when you give me no budget at that time, like budget is nothing. Money's no object. I didn't know a whole lot about cooling systems back in the day, and we got him a couple video cards that literally like was the temperature of the sun, but.
How close to the sun am I? About 18 fucking inches.
But he could run WoW at max settings, which it looked beautiful. It looked amazing, and it's probably one of the best looking games at the time. But I mean, if you didn't have the equipment to run it, you can knock that shit all the way down to EQ1 status. Like,
Right, and so it was really easy for people that had lower powered PCs to kind of segue into a whole new bracket of video gaming, and that was something that up to that point people weren't able to do.
right,
Because like I said, you took people from really hardcore communities, Galaxies, and EverQuest, and then put them into an established world, because Warcraft 1, 2, 3. And then you put them in an established world that they're probably already familiar with, and you made it so that technologically they only have to spend $60 to experience the same MMO that everybody's talking about, that everybody's going into, in a world that they're familiar with characters that they know, lore that they know, and they don't have to burn up their system or buy an $1,800 rig in order to be able to play it. So a $60 sidestep to a completely new experience.
right.
I mean, that's really like not that hard to fucking figure out. I mean, that's why I'm like, the only thing is like when I graduated, my self-graduation present was buying a new computer. So that's why I was able to go from EverQuest to EverQuest 2.
Right.
And WoW came out a month after we graduated. So I mean, like, I was like, well, I mean, and I ended up buying both. So I'm like, I bought both, but I was like, I'm such a huge EQ nerd that I was like, well, of course I'm going to play EverQuest 2 first. And then after a while, I was like, well, I'll try WoW. And then I was like, I don't know why I didn't play this, because it played like it felt fucking phenomenal. Like,
Right.
the responsiveness that you get as opposed to every other MMO. You realize now, looking back, how slow every other MMO is. Like, we went, like, whenever we played Galaxies like a month ago. We started playing it again, and compared to WoW, Galaxies is so incredibly slow. And you're almost like, it is, because so in EverQuest 2 and in Galaxies, you basically have an action window. These are the actions that I am taking, and then everything in EverQuest 2 has a cast bar. Everything, physical skills, casting skills, everything has a cast bar. So everything takes at least 1, 2, go, 1, 2, go.
Ugh.
So like, it really kind of like slows you down. And then in Galaxies, you can queue actions. So like, I want to use burst shot, leg shot, eye shot, and it'll be like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
So much like Knights of the Old Republic.
Right, exactly. I mean, like, I can almost guarantee you that Knights of the Old Republic's combat system was based almost entirely off of the same premise of Galaxies.
Right.
Because I mean, if you play one, you feel like you've played the other, and going into WoW, it's like, I want to push fast track, done. I mean, like, I want to push backstep, done. Who's next? Let's do this. You got energy? I'll kill that guy too. I mean, like, it just, you're like, so that's whatever, like, you ended up in MMOs, or people just fuck, kill everything, push the buttons fast you can. Oh my god! I mean, like, if you got energy, if you got mana, shit is dying.
See,
and the responsiveness was fucking unbelievable.
See, I never got into EverQuest. I never got into Star Wars Galaxies, but I did get into Final Fantasy XI, which came out right around the same time WoW did. And Final Fantasy XI had a lot of interesting things about it, but what made me not want to play it and made me want to play WoW instead was two main reasons, but there's like a laundry list of other reasons why I stayed with WoW. And the biggest reason is I had to play with other people. Had to. In Final Fantasy XI. And then on top of that, if I didn't play with other people, I would die and I would de-level. I think that was an EverQuest thing as well, right? You would level down.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how it was in Jared's talking to you. I don't know how it was in Final Fantasy XI. Two things that made me not want to play it. One, actually, sorry, three major reasons. One, the keyboard layout was just atrocious. I mean, your inability to be able to go anywhere was just staggering. I played it for a friend of mine talked me into installing it. I installed it. I played it for literally 5 minutes. I was like, I hate this. I hate everything about this. I cannot believe this is a thing. Turned it off. Never did it ever again. Then I went with then whenever I found out that you absolutely have to group with people, I was immediately turned off.
Right.
And the reason being because I spent all of EverQuest 2, and basically Galaxies, uh, playing in EverQuest. I was a necromancer, and you basically couldn't be with anybody. I mean, you could group with them outside, but I couldn't go anywhere with anybody because I'd get killed because I was a necromancer that served the god of hate. Literally, fucking everybody on the planet hated me. So whenever, like, I'd group with Ryan, I'd group with my friends. We would get to the outside of a town, and I'd be like, "Can you guys bring me back some biscuits and some water?" Yeah, I'll just wait. It's fine. Because I couldn't go in because they'd kill me like
Right.
instantly. There was nothing I could do. They would show up, the entire town guard would just mob me, and I would die. And then when you died, I mean, I know that you lost experience and you could de-level in Final Fantasy, and I don't know how long it takes you to gain experience, but I was level 63 in EverQuest, and if you had 8 bubbles of experience that you had to fill, and it took me about 6-7 hours to fill one bubble of experience. If you died, you lost 1.5, and it was like, so like dying was just an unquestionable thing. So
Right.
as a soloing necromancer, I spent a lot of time looking at people being like, "Am I gonna die if I kill him? If I fight him? Do I
No.
have an escape route? Where's the zone at?" Because you couldn't, because there wasn't rubber banding.
Right.
Did you ever hear that train to zone shit?
Yes, that was a
Yeah,
big deal.
yeah. So I mean, like, I don't know how it was in Final Fantasy, but in EverQuest, if you fought something, there was no, like, in WoW. You have WoW. I started with Asheron's Call, but in WoW, you have people your NPCs can only go past a certain distance to chase you, and then they turn around, they reset, and so somebody else can fight them. In EverQuest, that wasn't a thing. They chased you until one of you was dead or you hit the zone line. So you'd always hear people screaming out, train to zone. You end up with, like, you know, 14, 15 things chasing you. And then you say, like, you're some poor bastard who's sitting at the zone line trying to, like, med, or you're reading something, or you're alt tabbed, or you're jerking off, or whatever. And you look up, and there's like 19 things that are going to kill you running at you, because, again, unlike WoW, once they get to where they're no longer aggroing the person that they're going after, they don't 180 and go back to where they were. They get to the zone, stop, and then immediately kill something else. I mean, like, if there's another player in the zone, like, that's in their aggro area, their aggro table resets, but they stay where they are.
Oh.
So, like, if you have 19 giants that were chasing one person, he trains the zone, and then he leaves, they're not going to attack him anymore. But hey, what's up, dude? How's it going? You're in giant territory, which just happens to be wherever the fuck we are right now. And then they will just kill you. I mean, they'll attack you no matter what. So now you either kill all of them, which would be an amazing fucking feat, or you run too, or you just die, and then you lose all that experience, and some asshole that you never even saw has just killed you effectively. I mean, people used to do it on purpose, and it was like you would be blacklisted crazy, because, unlike WoW now, which is a whole bunch of servers all tied together, it was one server, and everybody started to know everybody. And if you are that fucker who trained a zone on somebody, he's gonna tell people.
See, that's one thing I did miss is the small communities. That's one thing we kind of lost in World of Warcraft. That I
The looking for group thing killed it.
oh yeah,
Yep.
that in particular. I mean, it was okay early on in WoW, like originally, when it came to the community, because you had server celebrities basically, and
Right.
people that were famous for being in the guild or leading the guild that first downed whatever or has the best gear, and it was a rare thing.
Hmm.
But then people were like, well, what about me? And then they just started making the game a whole lot easier for everybody else, and
And
it became not fun in that aspect. But yeah, the small community thing was a big deal. Like, before I started playing WoW, I was big into a game called Nexus. And say what you want about it, it was a 2D game. It played much
I
like
played it, so I know.
it played much like Zelda, you know,
Hmm.
except for much slower and more role playing.
Hmm.
But like, it only ever had at most 1,200 people online at any given time, and that's like at the very most. Which, that's it. There's like one server, so you didn't have celebrities strewn across different servers. It was one server, and you could use that to roleplay. Oh my God, there's that one guy. His stats are ridiculous, and he somehow managed to roleplay and get people on his side to do this and that. It's like, I miss that. You don't see that anymore anywhere. Period.
No, I liked looking for group whenever it's still server based and it wasn't an automatic click of the button.
Right.
Because whenever it first was released, it was cool because you would have a listing of these are the players that are looking for a group and they're looking for this group, and then it would show you like what they were, what their level was, and then like you could click on them and it basically you could see their resume more or less.
Yeah.
And then you could talk to them, be like, hey, we're looking for doing these dungeons. Are you down? Yeah, sure. So I mean, like after a while, you're talking about like server celebrities. I mean, you get to a point where like you can see on this list, I've seen this guy like 9-10 times, and I've grouped with him every time, and every time he's had an outstanding performance. He's got a great personality. He's real patient, so like if we die, it's not a big deal. He's not going to scream at people, and then vice versa. This guy is an enormous bag of cocks.
Right.
I don't even want to see his name on this list, let alone in my group. And so then you end up getting notoriety. So then that forced you to be fucking nice to people.
Right.
Because otherwise, if you're a dick, then people aren't gonna get you back in the group. Now people can be dicks, Jer, and like nobody cares anymore. And because the likelihood of you seeing that person again is incredibly low, Jer.
Speaking of which, welcome to this podcast, Jer.
Oh hey!
It just like to me like the looking for group being multi-servered just opened up the door to like just an unbelievable amount of trolling stare.
I don't know why anybody would do that.
It did big time, and I think at that point, like, it was kind of okay in Wrath of the Lich King, and then after that, it all went to shit.
Right, because like in Wrath of the Lich King was whenever it still had the list, like it was like hey, like we're looking at doing this, blah, blah, blah. And then but then like in Kata, when Kata came out, it was such a they decided to flip on the community more or less. And then make it be like, hey, you know what? We like looking for groups so much. We want to spread it to everything to make sure that no matter what time of day, everybody has the ability to get into a group no matter what.
Right.
And I'm, on one hand, I'm like, I love the intent and I love the thought, but the execution and the result is just a devastating blow to the community feel of the game. Well, it's just non-existent now. I mean, like you click a button, find group, and then you get in the group. Nobody talks. Nobody says a thing. We used to use looking for group to scout, You get in there and they're like, oh, this guy's guildless. Let's see how he does. And then here come the damage meters, or here come the analytics being like, this he's doing, you look at his gear score. He's doing pretty good. You looking for a guild? Maybe, because we run blah, blah, blah. And then you basically job hire out. You're like, oh, well, I'll give you a shot. Let's, what time is your raid? Okay, yeah, well, I'll be there for that. And then you go and you set up for the raid, and dude's like, wow, you guys suck, or whatever, and I don't want to join that. Well, thanks for coming out anyway.
Yeah.
And then, or he goes the other direction. He like lights up like a fucking shooting star and says, I want to do that forever. And then you get a great guild member, or you get a great friend, or you learn something about somebody. I have been in multiple guilds since Kata. I couldn't tell you a single fucking person's name. Not a goddamn one. I'm in a guild right now. I can't even tell you the guild's name. I don't even know what the fuck it is. My wife was invited to it, and she's like, well, I want to be in the same guild as you. And I'm like, I want guild perks, so sure, invite me. I've never talked to anybody. I've never even used guild chat in this guild. People have said hi to me. I've said not a thing.
I mean, there's no point. It's like,
I don't know you. You don't know me. You don't know anything about me. We're not at the same level. We're not in the same bracket. I mean, we're probably not even the same. We're probably not even on the same fucking server. I mean, like, I don't even know anymore. I mean, like, why do we even have servers at this point? It might as well be just one like big fucking hodgepodge of a whole bunch of shit where everybody like comes in and they kind of like, and then they go away. So that would be good actually if they only had one server, period, because that would get you back to the original community, because now there's only one server. You will be known as that fucking guy, Jer, who is like a bag of dicks in a group, Jer.
I feel like he's trying to hit home with that dude. What do you think he means by that? Jer,
He left.
you scared him off.
No, he's dead. It's fine. It's fine. He's dead.
He's just a boy. I don't know why you did that to him.
He shouldn't have been standing there.
Like,
His mic isn't working. Perfect.
Oh.
Well, I guess he's really audio only now.
All right, I'm back. Fuck you.
Hey! now we know he's definitely back.
I'm not even a dick in that. I'm one of those people that just go into the groups and I don't say a word because I don't fucking care.
yeah,
That
there's
is
no point.
such a load of shit, but I'll let it pass.
Oh, dude, I'll call people up for being fucking stupid. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, but unless people are like not being fucking dumb, no reason to fucking say anything to these people.
And it's funny because like I remember back in the day, if somebody was being stupid, I remember like the community was strong enough that like it behooved you to help other people become better. And it would you would talk to them and you'd work with them and be like, heck, hey, you seem like you kind of suck. So like, where are you at? Where's your head at? What are you, how are you doing? Level wise, gear wise, what do you think is your rotation? Because it's not whatever you're doing is wrong. I mean, like that's what it is.
You, Alex.
Yeah. I remember like one time, like we had another warrior in the group whenever I was in vanilla and we were in Skullmance, and I'm like, you are fucking garbage, and I do not know. I don't want to be here all night, but I will talk to you for a little while. And everybody in the group was like, yeah, we'll talk to him about it. Turns out the kid was like 7.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, cool,
No
dude.
excuses.
Welcome to World of Warcraft. Welcome to the PC gaming culture. I'm glad that you're here. Let's work on your rotation. Let's get you doing some damage. Between me, my wife, my friend, we literally got this kid almost tripled his DPS, which was just enough to get us the fuck out of there. Because I mean, like he was practically auto attack levels of bad. But I mean, but we worked with him. He knew enough to know that he didn't know anything, and so we helped him. We worked with him. We got community, and then from then on, the kid would bother me all the fucking time. But like you got a friend. You learned something about somebody. You actually grew community, and then like
Well, nowadays
it was cool.
If it was like how it is now, it'd be like, "Well, go fucking kill yourself, noob," and then they just leave you from the group.
And here's the thing: you will probably never see him ever again.
Yep.
I mean, like, so you actually that Blizzard has essentially green lighted the ability to be a huge asshole in their game, just because they've made it so like they've brought the full anonymity of the internet directly into the game, because they can be like XX Barbie, like War Barbie XXX, and be like, hey, you know what? You guys are terrible. And then they just pull everything and they kill everyone in the group and then just leave. And there's no consequence to them whatsoever.
That's why, like, I miss like the old days when it was like just the big one server that you played on. You played with people on your server. Like, I mean, I still fucking remember guys that like. I used to fucking hate running into these stupid asshole Alliance players in like Arathi Basin or like anywhere in the fucking world, and it used to just piss me off waiting for like our Molten Core raids, and their fucking raid group would be right outside. There was Stax the Rogue, Rohan the fucking warrior. What were some of the other guys' names? Like Chili Willy. I fucking hated like all
don't
these
name
people.
drop. They might be watching.
I don't care. If you're watching, I hate you.
But we remember you, and that was the thing. I mean, like, because you had effectively, like, because and what was cool too is that like whenever they did PvP back in the day, you learned from what I remember. I mean, you learned people, and there was always like only enough, like honor points or whatever to be High Warlord or Grand Marshal, like one person on the server, and like it would rotate. Sure, but there were, on our server, I don't know how it was on yours, but on our server, there was one guy who would get it every fucking time. He was High Warlord for like 4 months.
They did a thing. It was all one guild on our server that they just rotated all their like players to get high warlord. That's like literally all they did was they just rotated through.
Well, this one guy, he was their guild leader, and he had 4 shamans that followed him. And this was back whenever like shamans could put down multiple totems. And he had 4 shamans when they would do battlegrounds, and he would show up and do world PvP. 4 shamans followed him, and he was the high warlord, and he was fucking unkillable. He was an arms warrior, and he was just you literally couldn't do anything to him because all 4 of their shamans had that invulnerability armor.
Yep.
So I mean, like you start attacking him, invulnerable. You start attacking him, invulnerable, and then they just chain heal each other, and then he would murder the shit out of you because he had epic fucking everything. I mean, this man literally lived to murder. That's all he did, and it was cool because then you see him, like you're out doing questing or whatever, and then all of a sudden there's Cortico looking at you from a hill. You're like, oh, shit's about to go down, and you leave the area, and then you see the little warnings, such and such basin is under attack. Well, I ain't going there. Fuck it. Cortico's laying waste. Not even gonna bother. Well, I'm gonna show up and get murdered by a shaman. That's gonna be my life.
Yep. I remember that. There used to be, I think it was Johan, was like the only ret paladin pretty much like in the game that could actually do anything. And this fucker had like the best of the best gear and would just go around in Arathi Basin and just roll people. That's like all he would do. Like he was unfucking stoppable. It was so irritating. But it was like, it was cool because it was like you'd get this one person there and they'd kill you a bunch of times and you'd like talk to your guild and then your guild would show up. And then he'd bring his guild. And then it was just a huge all-out, like, 8-day fucking battle over Arathi Basin. Bodies fucking everywhere. Yep. And, like, you don't get that anymore. Now it's like somebody kills you and it's like, what the shit? I'm going to hop on my flying mountain. I'm going to fly away and no one fucking cares.
And here's what sucks about, like, the world PvP now is, like, you get, let's just say, like, you get attacked or ganked by this one guy. But because the way that cross-server works, like, as soon as he leaves the immediate area to go look for somebody else to gank, he's never going to come back to your server.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, I mean, like, even if your guild does show up to try to, like, effectively carry a paint can up to the water tower to defend your honor, there's not going to be anybody there. Yep. I mean, like, there won't be anybody there. And that's what's really tragic about it. Because, I mean, there were multiple times where, like, Tara and I would be playing and I'd, she'd be, getting taunted by some guy who's flagged, and I'd come running out of a bush, and I'd just murder the shit out of him. But, like, you can't really do it anymore, because the guy will just literally, like, run around the corner, and then he's gone.
Yeah, man, that was so much fun. I remember, like, okay, so, I had a big group of friends, then I became friends with Jer, and lost that big group of friends. I don't know if that was Jer's fault. Probably not. It's probably my fault. Anyways.
It was definitely your fault.
No, I remember, because I was originally on Blood Scalp. And then,
you shouldn't have boosted their cars, too.
So anyways, I was originally on Blood Scalp, and I met Jer, and Jer insisted that me and the girlfriend transfer over to
Gorgonash,
that's the one.
Yeah.
And then we did that because we were sick of our so-called friends at the time, and they were just jackasses. And so we started hanging out with Jared, and all of a sudden, we see them on the new server. All of them transferred to the new server to follow my ass, and switched to Alliance. Because I was always Horde, and we were Horde all Horde at the time, and I'm like, wait a second, that name. Dude, I moved servers. You spent money to track me down. Are you serious? Back in the day when you had to spend money to transfer, do you still have to spend money?
Yes, you do. Yeah.
But
everything costs money.
Yeah.
But there's no point to transfer servers now, right?
I mean, pretty much no. I mean,
yeah. I mean, like, unless like, yeah. Well, no. I think you can even do that now.
You can do cross-server guild shit now. It's like, yeah, it's literally the dumbest shit ever.
What's the point?
If you are in the same server, you can trade.
Oh. What do you do?
Yeah,
I'm just telling. I think, to my knowledge, that is the only thing.
And it doesn't even matter, because if you're in a group and you kill something and it drops something that can be like bound or that, like, can be worn, you can still trade it.
Sure, but I mean, like, if
But,
let's say like you and I were in a group and you had some trade skill shit, which is pointless now
yeah, that's
anyway.
pretty much the only thing that you
Yeah,
can't trade.
yeah. So I mean, like, I couldn't give you like a stack of ore. I mean, like that was like my wife gets so worked up about trade skill shit, and I'm like, I appreciate that. Back in the day, trade skills really meant a lot. They mean absolutely fucking nothing anymore. I mean,
So
like, I don't even know why you're excited about, like, because she's like, oh man, I want to get these new recipes. I want to get all this stuff lined up, and I'm like, why? It doesn't matter. No one uses it. No one will fucking use it. You could have the tip of the dick iceberg of like jewel crafter shit, and it will never be as fucking close to what you can literally peel out of a fucking box they will probably give you for doing a quest.
that's
And that's fucking disheartening because like the level of materials required to do anything is just fucking unbelievable. And then like to have the stuff suck dick is just why? I mean, like, why is this shit even in the game anymore?
that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Like, I mean, that's what they've always been doing. Like, okay, like the whole the PvP thing. There's always just like remnants of it, you know. So like you got, oh man, back in the day, High Warlord. I mean, top on the server, and then they fucking took that shit away. But they left the honorable kill shit behind for some reason. Like, oh, that still kind of matters. Uh, it says scout or fucking, you know.
Well, yeah, if you
grunt.
got the title, they let you keep the title, and I'm like, well, that's cool, I guess. I mean,
Cool.
but you know, so like, yeah, you get the title. I mean, I guess like if you do rated battlegrounds, you can get the titles back, and and that's how you get like the replica of the High Warlord's armor and
Yeah.
whatever. But good luck doing that because that shit's fucking unbelievably hard to do. First of all, because you have to have a coordinated guild in order to be able to do it. B, you have to have a consistent win rate, which also have fun
Yeah,
with.
well, especially because like PvP, like back in the day, was like I felt like it was more balanced than it is now. Like now, it's literally who can stun who the longest.
It
Back in
was
the
more
day, it
balanced.
was like healers could die, tanks
Mhm.
could die, and like it was just like it felt like everyone was vulnerable at some point, you know, to something. Nowadays, it's like I can go into a battleground on my holy paladin, and I can play an entire game having the whole enemy team attempting to rape me to death, and I'm just fucking jumping around like it's no big deal. Full health, instant cast. You can't do anything about this. I'm
Yeah,
also keeping my entire team alive.
that's how it was whenever I was playing because I played I PvP'd on a Healy Shaman, and the amount of healing that I could do was just obscene. I mean, like I would be like it would be like me and Jer and Joe, and we would take a point, and there would be the three of us, and then they'd come in with six, and Jer, I would literally just stand there, and they'd be stunning me. It doesn't matter, I'm still healing you because we did a bunch of arenas, so like the three of us got really good at like fighting together and coordinating. I'd hex one guy, and then I'd just be healing, and they couldn't do enough damage to me because I'm wearing mail and I've got like my totems down, and I'm like you can't hurt me enough to make me die. There isn't enough of you.
Right.
And we're in a battleground, we're not in arena, so like you guys don't have the gear to punch through the armor that I've got, so good fucking luck. Meanwhile, Jerry's just literally sitting there sweeping through dudes, and like Joe's just murdering everybody, and it was just like I mean, just with me just not being able to die, I could keep like our entire fucking team up, and we won consistently. It was absurd.
Yeah, yeah. So all of these things that we miss. I mean, we're talking, back in the day when the game was better. What's coming up soon? Is there going to be a beta, not a beta server, a vanilla server coming out soon?
Supposedly.
Yeah,
Is that
they
the
apparently they've actually they were talking about it for a really long time. Like they're going to be doing World of Warcraft Classic is what it's going to be called.
Okay.
And their big selling point on it was, or their big kind of dilemma that they had on it was, what is classic vanilla?
Right.
Is it the patch before AQ? Is it the patch before like Onyxia was put in? Is it the patch before Nax Gramus? Like, like what patch specifically is vanilla? And they decided on one, and it was right. I think it was like right when Nax Ramus came out. So I think that Nax Ramus will be in it. They decided that basically it'll have like the fullest like experience for vanilla. And that was like when they put in the the PvP towers for Eastern Plaguelands and stuff.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, so I mean, I think it'll be kind of cool to see like the old 40-man raids again. Like I only ever went into Naxxramas and it was a 60 raid like once, and we were there for like 8 fucking hours clearing trash.
Yep, it took a long time.
And I remember the very first time that something dropped. It was this shit ass mace that had no fucking stats on it, but the damage on it was insane. And this rogue got it, and like his fucking numbers like quadrupled just with that.
Because gear was so much. Gear was so much of a thing back then. I mean, like gear is important now, but it doesn't seem to matter as much. And back then, I mean, like if you had one epic, like I have one purple, and like look at me now, ma, and I mean, and you just swung for the fences, and there was people would step back and be like, "Holy Jesus!" You know, I mean, you're like flatlining dudes, like no big deal.
and like now it's like, you know, I can get a character 110, and within 2 hours I can be max level gear. Like that's it. Like, you know, and like back then it was like, okay, now I'm level cap. I'm like mostly in like greens and like grays and like maybe like 1 or 2 blues. And you have to go from there. Like, and so I don't know. I will be personally playing the shit out of it. Like I'm so down for it. I just like, but they haven't really put out too much on it because it's like, do they do the updated graphics?
That's what I want to know, because I mean, like,
do the old graphics?
I would like it if they went with classic and then it didn't look like classic, because I like the new graphics, I like the new sound assets, I like the new animations, I like all that. But I mean, like, if they're just like, if they go in and they're like, you know, well, you know, there you go, guys, here's your Warcraft classic, and they just, and this is exactly like what it was, and there's no fucking difference, there's no updates whatsoever to it, like to the game, I'll be like, well, this is dumb. I mean, like, because I could have gotten this for free, you know, on somebody's private server,
right?
And it's effectively no different, because it's all it is just a rehash of the game.
A lot of it, though, like I kind of think that they will probably do like updated stuff, because they can't use the old servers with the new servers, like that. It's not compatible, and they're so old that they're basically having to kind of reverse engineer everything to be able to even run it on what they currently have for other servers and stuff. So it'll be interesting to see, like, once they put out a little more on it. They haven't really released a bunch of stuff on it, but they said that it'll have the old leveling system, so like it'll take forever to get to 60.
Good.
And yeah, I mean, they said no looking for group, none of that stuff. I'm just curious to see, like, are they just going to put out like one server? Is it going to be like a shit ton of them? Is it going to be like its own game where you have to pay a separate subscription for?
That would be, I would fucking be so angry. I would be so angry if they're like, you can play classic, but it's going to be like $9.99 a month.
And I would pay that, and I'd play that versus like the new World of Warcraft stuff, just because it's like, I don't know, PvP makes me so fucking angry now. And I just remember PvP back then. It was like, I'd run around on my warrior and I just fucking obliterate people and get obliterated, and it was so much fun.
Well, because it was more even. I mean, like, you didn't spend a bunch of time where like you would have a paladin and a rogue and a fucking like an ice mage, just like stun, dead.
Well, yeah, it's like they've said before, it's no fun when you can't control your character, but everything we're going to put into this game is going to be so you can't fucking control your character.
Yeah, you know, I've heard that, like, I've heard them say that since Wrath, you know, because PvP in Wrath was still pretty good. And then, you know, since Wrath, it's been like, you know, PvP is going to be based around, you know, rotating your CC, and I'm like, well, that sounds awful.
Right.
And spoilers, it's fucking awful. So I mean, I remember, like, you know, being in whenever, because I PvP'd the most in Burning Crusade, and I PvP'd the most on my Warlock, and I loved it because, you know, you could, because I did a lot of the tab targeting, where it was like, you know, whatever I got a percentage health return on whatever shadow damage was done. So I would put I would put like my dots on like 12 targets, and then I would be draining somebody, and I'm like, now I'm effectively unkillable. Like, it doesn't matter how many of you are, I'm going to kill everyone in this room because I have so many dots on everybody. And that was where I had my fun. But now it's like I go into a battleground, even if I'm on my warlock and I start to do anything, and I spend all my time, and I'm dead.
Yep.
Oh God! It's very fucking irritating.
Yeah.
But you're looking forward to Classic more than you're looking forward to Battle for Azeroth?
I don't know. I'm like super on the fence. Like, there's something about Classic that just it gets me chubbing up. Like,
well, it's because it's the nostalgia. I mean, it has everything to do with what you remember. And it's like, I got all excited whenever OG and I started playing EverQuest again. It had everything to do with what I remembered the game to be. Just like whenever we started playing Galaxies, it was everything it was everything about what we remembered versus what it actually was. I mean, like the hindsight rose tinted glasses for sure. Because I mean, like, now that we've played a bunch of MMOs since Galaxies, I said this earlier in the podcast, but you weren't here. So whenever we were playing Galaxies before, it was the pinnacle of our experience, and it was great, and it's still great. Don't get me wrong, but we played other things, and like we've become more accustomed to the responsiveness of modern MMOs.
Yeah.
And WoW has been the pioneer in changing all that, going from it's more centered around community and role playing to it's more centered around gameplay. And up until World of Warcraft, that was always wasn't about gameplay as much as it was about you talking to people in the game and then making the most out of the world that has been made for you to make the most in. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, and I mean, like, I totally get that. I guess that it would depend on how they're going to do their servers. Like, if it's just only like a couple of them and there's a fucking ton of people playing on there and there's no phasing bullshit. I think phasing fucking killed everything about World of Warcraft, like, as far as, like, running into people, like, don't get me wrong, I hated, like, sitting around waiting for 30 minutes to fucking skin a fish I killed because there's 900 other jackasses trying to skin the same fish, but at the same time, it's like, the world feels so dead just walking around and there's nobody. There's fucking... I can play sometimes for days and I don't fucking see a single other person.
Yeah.
Or not Alliance.
Single player game online.
Yeah, like, and I mean, like, if I wanted to fucking do that, I'd go play fucking
the Old Republic.
Yeah, the Old Republic.
Yeah.
If I wanted to play with myself, I'd fucking go upstairs in my bathroom,
One of the things that really killed me for phasing was, and I agree. I think I understand what they were going for because they want phasing to enhance the story of the game, and I dig that and I get that. And as a resident lore nerd, I'm all about that because I want to be able to experience the most story and all these characters and yada yada. But whenever I'm playing the game, when I'm trying to play it with like say my wife, because Kata was the worst for phasing. To me anyway. So whenever I was playing Kata, and she starts on a quest line, but she's further back than I am, or she's further ahead than I am. I can't see her.
Yep.
Like, I mean, that was the first time that we ever experienced that was in Cataclysm. I'm right here. What do you mean you're right here? I'm standing on the dot where you are. Well, how come you can't see me? I don't know why I can't see you. And then that's whenever she'd complete the quest, and then all of a sudden I can see her. Like, this is stupid. See, I hate this.
That's one of the biggest things that killed Grand Theft Auto 5 for me. They did the same shit in Grand Theft Auto 5, where they had probably 60 different servers, and 15 to 30 people max on those servers. And you could form a party with somebody or a group of your friends, but at any time, you could drop off and fall onto another server, and your party's gone. So
wow.
Yeah, I was really looking forward to Grand Theft Auto 5 because I wanted to form gangs and corporations and shit. And yeah, they made it almost impossible, and it sucks. It was a big old letdown. But as far as the phasing thing goes, and I thought it was a great idea. When they made quests that changed out the terrain and stuff.
Yeah.
Like that whole quest in between, what was it, over by Dalaran and right before you hit the Ice Crown area, that whole like valley there.
Are you talking about Wrathgate?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was badass.
That was cool, and that was a good way to do it because then. But I don't even think that really involved phasing as much as it was like one person's perspective could be completely different than the other.
Right.
Because I remember like Tara hadn't done the quest, and she's like, well, "This place is kind of cool." And I'm looking at it, and there's dead bodies everywhere, and I'm like,
You see what I'm
"You and I
saying?
apparently have the same vision of cool." Because I too also like to be, I too like landscapes that are covered in dead bodies.
Yeah. Well, like, as far as the classic is concerned, I'm hoping, yeah, they have updated graphics and sounds and whatnot. I'm hoping for that personally. Um,
Or
and-
even like just make it an option like they have now, where you can shut off the advanced models. Like if you want to play shitty old graphic Warcraft, just put like a little fucking click box, and then boom, you can
Yeah,
shut
man.
it off.
It's doable. It's definitely doable. I've
What's
seen
what
it
they?
before.
It's what they do now. Like you can shut off all the new models. You can shut off like some of the new spells. Like
See, I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
That's a thing that they've had in EverQuest for a long time. Was that you can just shut all that stuff off. Like you don't have to have like because they have the original models and then the original shaders, and they had the Shadows of Luceland shaders and models, which was like their third or fourth expansion, where like they updated all the graphics, and they made it so that like I said earlier, some people's games couldn't run it, or some people's rigs couldn't run it, so they made it effectively so that people could actually run it
Right.
by removing all the shaders and making it more, or I should say less complicated.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely had the right idea. I mean, that's how League of Legends became popular. I mean, you had all these other, like Dota, for example, was out, and all these other games that had just badass graphics, but League of Legends came way further ahead than any other MOBA because you could run it on a toaster.
Yeah, exactly. And you could have it like on a shitty old laptop, and it didn't make a damn bit of difference.
Yeah, man, I was able to have LAN parties, 100% supplied by me, of just fucking old ass laptops laying around or PCs, without video cards, and playing a LAN party of League of Legends, just because the requirements were so fucking low.
Mm-hmm.
Pentium 4s and shit. Yeah, it's some good stuff. Some very good stuff. So, alright. So it's still just a rumor, the classic thing, right?
well, no, it's a thing, but
It's happening. We just don't know what it
Yeah.
actually is going to be.
it's like a thing, but they don't quite know everything, like how they're gonna do it. They have what they want to do. They have where they want it to be set at. They just now need to do the whole make it happen.
So I'm gonna play a little bit of devil's advocate here.
Uh,
Because I'm kind of on both sides of the fence because I just thought about it. I don't remember where it was. I think it might have been during a BlizzCon or something, but there was a developer, I can't remember who it was. He's like talking to the crowd, and one of the people in the crowd says, "So are you ever thinking about releasing legacy servers or?" And the dude's like, "You don't really want that. You think you want that, but you don't want that."
oh yeah,
You know?
Yes.
I remember that.
So, what do you think finally, like, opened up their eyes to this actually needing to happen?
Big
The
old
fact that
fucking
they-
dollar bill signs, dude.
I mean that they basically were using their shed community as a metric for profit, because they looked at like the private servers that they all forced to be shut down, and were like, these people had a lot of people running all at the same time. There was enough people on here that were just playing classic World of Warcraft or were apparently interested in it for us to actually be able to make money doing this.
I mean, yeah, that makes perfect sense. I don't know why it wasn't like a... People are asking for it, you know?
Well, the big thing is that I think that kind of a couple things is, one, the amount of work that they're going to have to do to make it happen, because it's on servers that are what, like 20 plus years old now.
Yeah.
The game is like basically will not work with like modern day stuff that they have right now.
Right.
So the amount of work that has to go into it to be able to basically even make it fucking plausible to work, at that time was probably just like they had all this new stuff coming out and all these new projects. And I feel like now, I mean, like their company has kind of grown enough that they can pull people from other stuff. Like that. Apparently, there's also a rumor of like another Diablo game coming out.
Okay.
Shut up.
Yeah, apparently there's talk of like a Diablo 4 or whatever it's going to be.
I'm sure it'll be terrible, just like 3.
Yeah, but I feel like they've probably grown enough to where they could be like, you know what, we could probably swing some people to do and work on this and pull this and make it happen. And with how much it was brought up at like every fucking BlizzCon, someone would ask, and it's like they eventually were just like, yeah, we know you guys want fucking vanilla servers, like shut the fuck up about it, like. So I feel like that kind of has something to do with it.
I don't know. I just can't imagine it taking that much work because, to be honest, they have it already. It's just a matter of making it work, right? So
It's a matter of making it like profitable, making it actually worthwhile. Because it's like the guy's not necessarily wrong. Because I mean, again, we just recently played, Galaxies and I just recently played EverQuest. You think you want that old experience, but what you really want is you want the sensation that you got whenever you were playing it the first time.
right.
And there's literally no way for you to have that recreation. I mean, you think you want it, but you really don't, because then whenever you do play the old game, like you find out about like how much different it is than what you remember. Again, the rose-tinted glasses of time.
Yeah.
So you're like, well, this game was amazing. It was the best this and it was the best that, and then you go back and you play it, and you're like, wow, this is slow as shit, and the graphics are terrible, and like there's really not that much to do. So I mean, like, and I think that's one of the things that I'm going to probably have a problem with in the vanilla, the classic server, and that I think it'll be the idea of it is fun. But at the same time, it's like, so what do you do? I mean, so you've got Molten Core, and you've got AQ, and you've got Nax, and you've got Blackwing Lair, and Onyxia. So those are your raids.
And ZG.
Yeah, that's true, ZG too. So I mean, so those are your raids, and they're 40 plus, and you're gonna have to dedicate a mountain of time to it. It's 14 years since that game's launched. What, 12 years since that version of the game has been around, and the game has grown this much to a more single player experience. Do you really think people that were playing the game then at that time are going to have the time, inclination, or patience to be able to do that?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like they made these quote unquote improvements to the game because people were bitching about the game back in the day. Jeez, I just can't. It's so hard to coordinate 39 other people to make a raid happen, and once it happens, you have to spend literally, 6 to 12 hours getting it done. It consumes a large amount of somebody's life to do this stuff, but people were doing it nonetheless. Doesn't mean people didn't bitch about it. People bitch
looking
about
for
it
38 more Molten Core. Please don't tell.
Yeah, I mean,
18 hours later, looking for 22 more.
So when they came out with what was it? What was the first raid that came out that was only like 15 men?
AQ. They had their 40 man, and then they had 25 man.
Okay, they had 25.
No. Wait. ZG was the first one. Zul'Gurub was 25 man.
Okay, it's 25, and even that was pretty rough. So when you look at Burning Crusade, when Burning Crusade came out, the first raid, well, it was technically a raid, but the first like big boss was Gruul, right? And he was 25 man, wasn't he?
No, he was 10. They had 10 and 25.
Okay, so 10 and 20.
I only ever did 25, so I don't know.
So in Burning Crusade, they're like, okay, people are bitching a whole lot about 40 mans, so let's give them 2 tiers. One's gonna have better rewards, and one's blah blah blah. So 25 man and 10 mans, right? So you had Karazhan. Karazhan was strictly a 10 man, right?
Yep.
Okay. Then you had your bosses, which is Gruul, and what was the other one?
It was Mag Theridon.
Mag Theridon, yeah. You had your 10 and your 25. You didn't have a 10 man for Mag Theridon, did you?
No, so I think it was 25.
No, I think Mag was 25 only.
25.
Yeah.
Okay. So I mean, Burning Crusade pretty much killed the 40-mans, right? Up until Black Temple. Because Black Temple was 40
Yes.
man.
Yep.
And then
Yeah.
after that,
No. But yeah, Black Temple was 40 man, wasn't it? No. It was.
No, I'm pretty sure it was 40. Because I also think that Quilfing was 40.
Let's use the Google.
the Google.
Yep, Google it, dude. Google that.
But then after Burning Crusade, you know, Wrath of the Lich King came out, and it effectively killed 40 mans because
Yeah.
nobody wanted to do them anymore. 25 mans was it. That was the highest as it went. Because just because people bitched, they kept on bitching. I want the best, but I don't want to have to work very hard for it.
I don't want to have to try to coordinate with a bazillion other people.
Yeah,
It was
So-
25.
was okay.
25 man. Yeah. Because then you had the Mount Hyjal, Black Temple. Yeah, they're all 25.
Gotcha.
And then Sunwell Plateau.
So, Blizzard made all these improvements to the game, quote unquote improvements. Some people see it as, you know, aspects that killed the game going forward, but you know, you get to re-experience all the horrors of the game, such as coordinating that shit, such as having to actually talk to people again. I mean, this is where I'm, you know, on the fence about it. Do I really want to go back to that? I mean, it was great when it first came out because there was nothing else at the time. It's just like when back in the day when you had like Blockbuster Video or whatever, and you wanted to, like, Mom, I want to go rent a video game. Okay, well, you go. You got one in your sights. You go and you go rent it, and you play it for the fucking week, and you get that one game for 3 days, right? Nowadays, you've got Steam. You could fucking get any game you want at any time. You don't have to fucking do anything like special to go get it. So nowadays,
No, everything's at your fingertips.
yeah. So I've got, like, you know, 150 games I've never played before, but they're in my library. So it's times have changed. So do you want to go back to that when they have made it easier for you? That's the question.
I don't know. I'm super torn. I like the idea of possibly having to interact with people again, and like, you know, like if they do the servers like that where it's like, you know, if you're a fucking dick, everyone's gonna know you're a dick, and no one's gonna play with you because you're a dick. Versus like now where it's like whatever, I can go and I control the shit out of this raid and leave and whatever, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Sure.
nobody cares.
Like, I mean, like I like the idea of getting to know people. I have not made a single new friend in my fucking World of Warcraft account since like Meek, back at the end of like Wrath of the Lich King.
Yeah.
Because it's like I don't fucking need to interact with anybody. I will never see these people again, and everyone, you get into a group and no one fucking says a word. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That kills my boner.
Yeah. I have a strong feeling that people are going to want it. They're going to love it for about a month. Maybe 2.
And be like, this game was hard.
It's like, oh yeah, I'm going to go back to the other one where the numbers were bigger on my screen. I'm hitting for like 300,000 damage. Now all I see is like 1,000 at most. So fuck that. I want bigger numbers. It makes my boner that much harder.
You're not gonna get bigger numbers though because they're doing another big number crunch.
Are they?
Yeah, they have to because they're like, oh well, these numbers are just too astronomical and it's so hard to blah 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 and run all this, and I'm like, then quit fucking with the numbers.
Vegeta.
Well, I mean, like, no, you get fucking like bear tanks that have like 2.5, 3 million fucking health that are unfucking killable in like world PvP.
Right.
I mean, like, I don't know. World PvP back in Vanilla was awesome. I loved creeping around on my rogue and just fucking like ganking the shit out of people. Or like, I mean, like now it's like they even come out and said like, yeah, World PvP is just, it's fucked. Don't do it. Like that's literally like what they've come out and just, they're like, yeah, it's literally unfucking playable.
Right.
I've had people fucking drop off their flying mounts, and before they hit the ground, they've killed me in like 2 hits.
Oh, goody.
Wow.
And I'm
So-
like, oh, this is fun. This makes this game awesome. I'm glad I'm playing this.
Welcome to World of Warcraft.
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah, come on back. Man, dude, I keep on getting these virus freaking warnings.
You don't have viruses, dude.
Oh, you know.
Yeah, quit watching all the animal porn.
Just hit it with the shampoo.
Oh no, it turns you off virus protection. Blue screen incoming.
Oh no.
Bye, Neil.
So alright, do we want to add any more to this? Because I think we've covered every aspect of it at this point that we can think of.
Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to Battle for Azeroth. My only thing about it is that I actually reflect a lot of what other people are saying that they don't like about Horde wise, and that they think that the Alliance is probably gonna have like a better overall experience, and it's because like I really don't like Sylvanas as the war chief.
Yeah, why don't you like Sylvanas as War Chief?
Well, I mean her character right now. I mean like the way that
kinda
that her
boring.
character has done. Well, it's not that it's boring. It's like she's noticeably not. She doesn't follow the tenets of the Horde, because the Horde has always like had like a very specific, I'm going to say rule set of like basically rules of conduct. Be honorable, always fight fairly, etc. And always fight for the greater good of the Horde. And she's not fighting for the greater good of anybody except for herself. So it's like, okay, well, now I don't want to follow that, because she's only looking to advance the Forsaken and keep herself from being killed, because she knows now that she tried to kill herself the one time when she actually did die, she's going to hell, period. And she's terrified of it. And so like her entire character is driven on the notion of, I don't want that.
No thanks, not for me.
Yeah, no thanks, I'm full. and so it's like, okay, well, so then what are you hoping to accomplish? Well, okay, so now you're gonna do whatever this mystical shit is that they picked up in Silithus, I think. And it's like, okay, so now you have this character who is noticeably evil, basically.
Right.
And you get to be, okay, well, now I'm following that person, even though previously to this point, everything about the Horde has always been about honorable and being not. There was never a good guy or bad guy. It was always just a different perspective on the other side, because everybody was effectively always trying to fight for the same good result on another angle. But now you're not following the Horde, you're following the Forsaken, and you're following Sylvanas, who is noticeably not good. Like whenever her answer to fighting Gilneas is, we're just going to use a weapon of mass destruction and just gas everybody. That was her answer, because like fucking Garrosh is a war criminal, a literal war criminal, because of like putting people to death, etc. He refused to drag civilians into conflict because he didn't want to kill people en masse, because he felt like if he did, there would be nothing left to rule. And so you have Garrosh, who, I want to fight warriors. I want warriors to fight warriors. I want you to push the front. I want you to make a victory. Do not use anything that's fucking illegal, basically. And it's like, but I want you to win. And she's just like, no, I'm just going to do it the easy way, and I'm just going to gas everyone. And so, Garrosh is basically like old school Iron Horde, which, makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
But, the way he approached war was exactly what you would expect from like a high caliber, high alpha warrior to do. Sylvanas is the exact opposite. She's more interested in clandestine operations and chemical warfare, which is completely anathema to what the majority of the Horde is. The trolls, the Tauren, the orcs, even the fucking goblins, they are less likely to poison you than the Forsaken.
Goblins are pretty high up there, but that's probably more on accident than.
Well, goblins will gut shot you and then blow your house up. But I mean, like at the same time, like you're not going to be sitting there having dinner with your family, and a goblin isn't going to gas the whole fucking city. I mean, like that's what she did. So she gasses Gilneas and just kills everybody in the city: men, women, children, animals, dogs, puppies, kitties, everything dead.
That's
so. It's like. So then, you know, that infuriates Garrosh because it is exactly the opposite of what he wants, which is ironic because it's exactly what he did to Theramore, Monobomb, hence his war criminal trial.
Well,
Well, it's amazing how like being pushed to a stressful situation can make you like do a 180 on your shit. But I mean, I can only imagine that like characters like Thrall are probably looking at the Horde being like, you know, this isn't what I wanted, right?
I mean,
You know that, right? I mean, like this is you are now a bad guy. We're clear on that, right? You're not good anymore. I mean, like the Horde was just like another group of people, and now you're just bad guys. Now you are literally the enemy to everyone. I mean,
you're a raid boss.
yeah, you're gonna be. I mean, like Sylvanas is gonna be a bad guy. She's gonna be a raid boss in this. I don't see Sylvanas making it out of this expansion.
Good, fucker.
I don't. Here's my big disappointment. I loved when Vol'jin became the war chief, and I was so fucking angry whenever he died. I was like, wow, he was the shortest reign war chief ever.
But to be fair, he did literally fucking nothing for the longest period of time. And then they're just like, he's war chief, and we made a bad choice, so he's not alive anymore.
Which is funny because it's like we made a bad choice. It's like he was instrumental in Pandaria, and then he coordinates the invasion of Draenor, and you know he does a lot of the things for both clandestine operations, overseeing the commander's efforts and the Frostwolf command center, the Navy, the working with the not the Draenei, but the Broken or whatever to take Hellfire Citadel. I mean, he does a lot. He does a lot on the front of defeating the Iron Horde and then pushing into Legion and then getting Gul'dan out of Draenor. And then they just sort of like be like, by the way, Vol'jin died. And it's like, well, he didn't get to. He really didn't really get a chance to do anything. I mean, like, look at the beginning. Look at Vanilla and Burning, and then only like maybe like a small portion of Wrath of Lich King. Thrall did literally nothing. Yeah, I mean, he wasn't even present. I mean, Overlord Sarfang spent more time in the saddle of combat than Thrall did in any of the games, and he literally fought in one fucking raid boss fight. One raid boss fight.
I'm actually curious to see if they're gonna make Sarfang like the leader of the Horde again, because he got his new model and like he apparently plays like a pretty big role in it, from what I understand. And,
well, he should, because I mean he's basically, you know, after Nazgûl. Now that Nazgûl's one of the four horsemen of the Ebb and Blade, I mean he's the highest ranking orc
alive
warlord. Yeah, highest ranking orc warlord alive, and I think Sylvanas is going to go all traitor, and I think it's going to rift the Forsaken, and I think she's going to become a raid boss, because I think it's going to be exactly like what happened with Garrosh, where like with Garrosh and his Kor'kron. I think it's going to be the exact same thing.
I don't really see that, just because I don't see the Forsaken having another leader.
No, the Ranger.
Oh, the Thanos Black Collar?
Yeah.
No, I don't. I mean, I don't know. I don't see him being a leader just because, I don't know, he's a dick.
Oh, because Garrosh was so super duper.
I mean, Garrosh did nothing wrong.
I was not at Nuremberg. I don't know, because my hope that she turns it around or just gives it up rather than becoming a raid boss is strictly because we've already been down this road for the Horde once, where the Horde had a racial leader that became the bad guy with Garrosh, and it would feel like almost reusing a story, and I would kind of piss me off. Now her getting off like in a cinematic, because I know that she comes in conflict with Malfurion early on in the game. So like I would, you know, it wouldn't really surprise me if she got off at some point, kind of like, you know, a la Vol'jin, where like you had an FMV and Vol'jin gets struck down. You're like, oh, well, that just happened. So then you have her removed, and then you have Sarping take over, and then the Battle for Azeroth, etc. I just don't think that her and the way that she's approaching the situations as the Banshee Queen of the Forsaken is really indicative to like the Horde mindset that people are accustomed to, and I think that it's making a lot of Horde players feel kind of alienated, where it doesn't really feel the same as it used to for them.
I kind of feel like it's like, I mean, obviously I don't really know what's going to happen, and I'm trying to like completely avoid stuff. My whole thought process on all this is that the Horde is going to be blamed for whatever it is that's going to start this war, and it's not actually going to be them. Sylvanas is going to be the one that's going to be taking the fall for it, and it's going to be a lot of her kind of running around and trying not to die, I guess, and trying to figure out what happened that's causing everything to be kind of like pinned on them. I feel like that's kind of going to be the whole thing, is that it's just basically going to be like some big misunderstanding, or like there's going to be some big new bad guy that's on the horizon that we don't know about yet.
Well, at the end of Legion cinematic, it's basically kind of like a scary version of the Gold Rush.
Yeah.
Where versus like a whole like group of citizenry being like, I'm gonna go find gold in them there hills. It's like it's entire armies and factions and entire groups of nations just being like, we got to get this shiny shit. What is it? I don't know, but the other guy wants it, so we want it. In fact, we want more of it, and if we can take it from him, we want more that he's got. So, yeah. I mean, it's just gonna be like a giant resource push, which makes sense because they want to have like this. I don't know if like I'm hesitant to say Battle for Azeroth might be like kind of like a filler expansion where it's like, we're trying to figure out where the story's going to go now because we just banished Sargeras, who is ultimately our predominant evil throughout the universe. So now y'all got to fight each other until we figure out what the fuck we're going to do. So
yeah, they have so much
now it's a resource push. Let's go.
But they still have like so many other like bad guys that they can use. They've got all the old gods. They've got the fucking Naga are still there. We haven't seen anything with that.
Yeah, they never did anything. Like they made a big deal that Queen Ajara was there, and then they never actually did anything with her.
Yep.
And they never made a raid for her. I was kind of like, why did you even have her show up? I was disappointed with Gul'dan. I felt like because basically the entire the entire Warcraft. 30 fucking years ago, no, not long, like 30 years ago, I'm using it anyway, started with Gul'dan. And then like we came all the way here, and then we let him be like a B stage bit player. I know he was super fucking hard, but like a B stage bit player in this final expansion. And I mean, like, whenever I talked about it before, I was like, what I would like to see is I would like to see Gul'dan get Illidan, and then effectively use Illidan to fight Sargeras, and then take Sargeras' power for himself and become like hyper powerful and effectively become an old god. And I would like, it's so good. It would have been so good because then he would have been the next bad guy, but like way down the line. Like we'd have had the end of Legion where Gul'dan becomes superpowered, Battle for Azeroth. Nobody knows what the fuck is going to happen, and then later on Gul'dan comes back, and then you finally put an end to him. He gets like destroys half the planet in the process or whatever. I would have been delicious, but instead it's like he just kind of gets brushed aside. And I'm like, you do know this is Gul'dan, right? I mean, he's effectively been your flagship character from the very beginning of this game series, not just this game. All of the games, all of them from the beginning. He's been the guy. He's been the bad guy. I mean, Sargeras has been like the big, background bad guy, but Gul'dan has been the face of evil incarnate. That's his fucking title, evil incarnate. From Warcraft, Orcs and Humans, the first one, all the way up till now. And you just kind of been like, and then Illidan turned him into dust. I feel disappointed in that. I mean, I feel like a huge letdown for a character because like his character was so interesting to me, but I also like really evil people, so maybe that's just a character flaw on my part.
And now he's dead. Score one.
And Illidan's kind of probably dead too. I mean, not that story-wise, he's effectively dead. I
mean, he's been effectively dead how many times now?
Yeah, but he's in another dimension that they sealed. They didn't kill him. He's in the other dimension.
He'll be fine. So all the fucking orcs were in the other dimension, and now they're all fucking coming back.
And
expansion.
Cool Dan did it. Oh, you're talking about the Megara orcs?
Yeah.
Makes me
So-
wonder if Gromash is going to come back.
Please.
Fuck, that would be terrifying. So Sylvanas turns bad, and then Gromash becomes the leader of the Horde. Fuck.
Yes, please.
No, dude, it'd be like, oh, didn't we just do this? Did we just fight this guy when he was the leader of the Horde? But now it's the real Horde? Like,
I'm okay with this.
I'm so confused. I feel conflicted.
I don't know, man. I'm super gay for orcs. I mean,
Whoa. Cheer.
I'm just gotta be real, man. There's just like nothing fucking cooler than badass fucking orcs, dude. So,
Especially now that they can stand up straight.
oh my god, I'm so excited for that. I can't.
I mean, finally, orcs got to sleep on a Sealy Posturepedic mattress.
Goblin chiropractors.
Yeah.
Hunched over and shit.
Oh. I hope that it would be nice if the undead could stand up straight.
Yeah, that was on their list. There's actually a couple models.
Was it one of
that,
Blizzard's stretch goals?
Probably.
I mean, I know that they need a lot of donations to be able to make this game successful. So if we
Blizzard,
need to donate,
air
we'll put a
quotes,
description in the bottom.
Blizzard air quotes soon.
Yeah, soon.
When we fucking get around to it.
They've actually put out a couple models for that, and I think that they were looking at doing the Worgen over again. I think, or at least the female Worgen. I think was the big one.
I've tried playing him Worgen, and I just thought it was stupid because it's like, oh, he turns into a werewolf, but he fights with weapons. Like, that's dumb.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so like real talk, like if you're playing like a Worgen hunter and like you're human, and then whenever you go to shoot your gun or your crossbow or your bow, you turn into a Worgen.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be harder though? You pull the trigger harder,
It's fine, Frank. Don't fucking worry about it. All right.
Which is funny because then, like, in HOTS, Greymane uses a gun and sword in human form, and then just claws in Worgen form.
Well, if you think about it, that's what he fucking does in
know.
all the fucking cinematics and shit that he's in.
Yeah, never once does he ever have a weapon when he's. I mean, like, look, real talk. If you're a fucking werewolf, you don't need a goddamn sword because you've got fucking 10 of them. I mean, it's dumb. It's like that mall ninja they had on the news. He holds on to the katana in order to limit his power.
Stop it. Maybe
I can't.
Maybe he should teach his people, how to use their claws instead of
My people, put down that damn axe. That's stupid.
Seriously, why bother transforming?
Like, you see what I have here? For real though, cut someone up.
Oh man. All right, guys, let's wrap it up.
I'm done. I'm wrapped. Oh, fuck yeah.
Well, everybody, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. This was fun, running down memory lane. If you like what you saw, like what you heard, please like, rate, comment, subscribe. Tell us what you think about all this, because you've played World of Warcraft. Don't pretend like you didn't. I know it might have been dark
We
times
know you
for
did.
you, but you did. All right, even for a little bit. So let us know. Shoot us an email, mail@dashofthegentleman.com. Shoot us a tweet.
Snapchat.
We got Snapchat now. I will send you pictures of Richard Nixon.
Tricky dick.
Dick pics, get it? Anyways, what are we doing tomorrow? We're not doing the DRPG. We might do something.
We should probably stream some Forest tomorrow.
Yeah.
Start our
Yeah.
new server.
Probably do some Forest.
Everybody
yeah.
in on that.
Stay tuned. Same time tomorrow, sometime.
No, it'll be around 10 or 9:50. Because I want to believe in you. Oh yeah, my time. 9:50 or 10 p.m. Central Time. Because I want to believe in Neil that one day he'll do this time.
Neil ain't gonna ever fucking make a podcast on time, dude.
Says the guy that came here 20 minutes late. Look. Look,
I got a fucking kid. What's your
Oh.
excuse?
He's
yeah.
got a point.
I'm
He's got a
living
pit bull,
alone,
you
that's
know,
what
and
it
he
is,
has to
you
poop,
know.
so that's
I
fine.
did have to poop, and I had to fix my hair.
Ew.
Singular.
My one hair. Shut up.
I mean, you wear a wig.
He wants to, you know, he who wore it better?
Shut up. Alright, guys. We'll see you next time. Bye.
I love you, bye.
Bye. Look at this graph.
Look at this photograph. Have I come up with that? I've had a couple of kids since then.
I hate you, Frank.
Good.